Okay, second video. So now what we need to do is actually get the schematic together for the basics of what we need. So we're going to have the processor, the crystal, some way of programming this thing. We're going to need the USB interface. So that's got to be a CH340. So, okay, so let me go back to this. This is where we left off last time. There's nothing on here. Clear off on the far right is a thing that looks like an op amp, and that's actually our components. So we click on that, and it does. Then this pops up, and again, copy default global footprint library table recommended. You must do that. If you click the other ones, things break. Okay. So then this window pops up. This is a list of the items that are just already in the system. So first off, we need a processor. And, okay, let me go down the list here. Interface, that, MCU, okay, Atmel, analog devices, Cypress, Dialog, Expressive, Intel, Microchip, AT-Mega. Okay, we're doing an AT-Mega. Okay, AT-Mega 328P-A. And it's really nice that it gives us this little footprint diagram so we can see, does that match what we got? And yes, that matches what we got. So it's a TQFP, 32 pins, it's 7 by 7 millimeters, and the pins are spaced 0.8 millimeters apart. Okay, so that's what we want. So I just say okay, and it gives us one. So I'm going to put this right in the middle. And now on my mouse, I've got an Apple mouse. So when I scroll out, it does all this goofy stuff where it recenters every time you zoom, which is really irritating for me. So I'm going to go back up here and go to KiCad and Preferences. I think on a Windows box it's in a slightly different spot, but go into Preferences, and then there's Mouse and Touchpad, and Center and Warp Cursor on Zoom. You know, I'm going to turn that off. Let's see if that's enough. Okay, so now I can zoom. And, I mean, you'll notice that it zooms wherever you're at. And so that really comes in really convenient because, I mean, I can zoom out in one spot, zoom in another to get me some places. Okay, so here's our processor. We need, it needs power and ground. Okay, so let's just get power and ground. Up here, again, in the upper right corner, we've got power. Okay, we can click power. It's got that. These are all voltages. We'll need a voltage plus voltage 2. Here's GND, close enough. That's a good symbol. And let me just put it down here below the ground. I need another one. I need plus 5. So let me just click plus 5, and I'm going to put it up here. And, okay, so there's a power and a ground, and we'll start connecting those things in a moment. We need resistors and capacitors and stuff like that. And if we do it right, we can save ourselves a little bit of effort later on, because if we copy a resistor, it will copy the footprint of it also. Because when I come in here and click back on device, I need a resistor. Let me grab a resistor. And they're going to be down under device. And I click the little arrow there, bring it down. And let me get down to lots of stuff in here. QR. Okay. Before I say okay, it says no footprint specified. Over here, this is new in the KiCad 6. I could come down here and say I want a resistor SMD R_0805 metric of 2012. Okay, this is without that. There's an option for hand solder that makes the pads just a little bit bigger. We don't really need that. Okay, so I'm going to set that size there, and then when I click OK, here's my resistor, and I can put it wherever I need to put it. Let's see. I'm going to have a whole bunch of these things. I'm just going to put it up here for the moment. I also need a capacitor. We'll actually need several of those. So I'm just going to come down here and just grab one, a non-polarized. Again, before I put it in, I want to pick the 0805 And I'm just going to put that up there too, because we'll just make copies of these things. I also will need an LED. While we're just doing this, we might as well just go ahead and get them all. So I'll just click this again. And it's under devices again. And I'm going to say, there's LED went by. LED, all these options. I just want a generic. LED. There. Generic. Now, I didn't assign the footprint. Let me hit the escape key because I want to do that again. I want LED, instead of no footprint specified, I want to do an 0805 again. Okay. Now the other thing is, before I put this down, I can use the R key. R key rotates me 90 degrees, so I can just put this in a direction that's convenient for me. And then when I copy it or move it or something like that, I can hit the R key again and make it do it. So there's some keys that you can do while it's selected. It changed a little bit from KiCad 5. So, I'm going to mess up here, but we're going to get there. I need a crystal. This thing's supposed to have a 16 megahertz crystal. So let me go back and grab a crystal. It's under devices. Crystal. We've got a crystal that is going to be, I want a 1-3, and they've got a 2-3. We're going to start with, oh, no, this is correct. The crystal, and it's got pins 1 and pins 3, and no default footprint. Let's see. We want, I think it's a 3x5 millimeter. There's a 3.2 by 5 millimeter. I think that's the right one. I'll verify this before we get too far. I'll put this out here too, because we need to connect that in. I can see where it says crystal right here, so I know that's where it's going to have to go. Let's see, what else do I need? That may be enough to get started. So, okay, so let me just zoom in a little bit. So I'm just going to zoom in right here. And this crystal, I'm going to hit the escape key until this thing up here goes, and then I can put my mouse on top of the crystal. And does that work anymore? Yeah, I put the mouse on top of the crystal, and I can say move. M button for move, and I want to put it down just below the pins 7 and 8 over here, and I'm going to just bring in lines. So now here's the line thing, and I can come over here from 7, and I'm going to come down here and come into that pin 8. Which side goes to which one? It's symmetrical. It doesn't make any difference. Okay, that's a start. This legend here is kind of in my way. So I can actually put my mouse on top of that and hit an M, and it'll let me move it. So I can move it over there, except I know that's going to be in the way too. Let me just move it out of the way for the moment. Yeah. Let's see, where's it going to... We'll move it clear over here for a moment. I need 2 capacitors to ground off of the crystal. So here's one of them. Let me just move this one to here and do a line. And then I want to copy this thing. And this is where I think, okay, for me it's Command D is to duplicate something. That's different than the previous version of KiCad. And I want to wire this one in. I should have set that value before I did that. So let me go back, click on the little arrow so I don't draw lines, and put my mouse right on here, and I'm going to hit an E, which is the properties of that capacitor. And the value, these are going to be 22 picofarad. And I should have changed this one too before I made the copy, but that's okay. So now those are 22. Okay, so now I need, the other side of these capacitors need to go to ground. And there's a ground down here. So what I want to do is just I want to copy this over there. Okay, so I mean I could draw wires all that far, but I don't really want to if I could avoid it. So if I come down here and I do Command D, that duplicates. I'm going to put it right in the middle. Go back, click my line. Okay, so that is now wired properly. Now I got these unconnected pins here on the crystal, and there's an X up here that's basically to tell the computer that's okay that those aren't connected. I don't really want to connect them. So we'll do that. Okay, so now we've got a crystal on this thing. You know, sometimes oh, let me wire the powers and grounds here. So I need a wire, and I'm just going to wire this guy in. And here's the 5 volt. And so I'm still collected for that. You know, I kind of want that to line up. So I'm going to just say move. And now I'm going to wire it. Both of those pins go. One's the AVCC is the analog VCC. We just, you know, in some applications you want to make that separate. It's pretty rare for what I do. Okay, so there's that. What else do we need? This A reference pin, it needs a cap to ground. So I'm going to come back over and just copy one of these. And I want to set it out a ways, just in case I need to use those pins 19 and 20. And I need a ground, so I'm just going to come back over here, Command D. Oop, no. Hit a couple of escape keys. Now let's try that again. Okay, so there's my ground. And so I just need a wires. So this goes from here to there, there to there. Okay, so that works. Now, the next thing we need to wire is there's a reset line that needs a pull-up resistor. And, you know, the reset's going to actually be used in a whole bunch of different places. It's on pin 29 here. So instead of running wires around, we can put a tag on it. And we can just label it. And I'm just going to call it reset. And it creates it for me. And I can just put it down here like this. And then I'm going to just draw a line to there. Okay. Now the reset line also needs a pull up to +5. And it needs a 10 kilo ohm pull up resistor. Well, here's my +5 already, and I've got a resistor here. So let me just take this resistor and move it. I'm going to hit the R once to rotate it. And I'm just going to put it right there. And I want this side to connect to +5. And I want the other side to go to the reset. So I can just come back down here and do, on the reset line, just do a Command D for copy. And I'm just going to copy that label and put it up there. Now let me zoom back in so you can see better. And now I can put the lines in for it. Now this is supposed to be a 10K resistor. A couple of escape keys there. Put my mouse on it, hit the E, the value 10K. Okay, so now we've got power and ground. We've got reset, we've got crystal. We need a way of programming this thing. The original programming of these devices is it's not through the USB interface. That has to be set up. So we have to actually come in through an in-circuit serial programmer interface. So we have to put one of those on there. And that's a 2x3 connector. So I need a connector on here. So again, I'll click my little thing, my op amp up there, connector generic. You know, they may even have one that labels it for us. I should look. Audio, 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 audio. AVR ISP6. That is correct. Okay, so footprint. Oh, now I need a footprint. Let's do the 2x3 vertical. It's a little overkill for space around it, but we'll leave it there for them. We'll do that. That's certainly huge. And I can do the rotate button to get everything closer over to here the way I want it. So let me just put it up hot. Let me just leave it the way it was. Okay, so I need VCC. Hit the escape key first. Put it on there. Duplicate the VCC. Let's put one of those up there. Come on the ground. Command D. Duplicate that. We'll put that there. And then I'm just going to make labels for the rest of these. We've got a reset one there. So let me hit the reset. Come over here. Command D. It took the wrong thing. There we go. Resets the bottom one. Labels. I want SCK for... I'm matching the labels that are on there already. And so we'll put that one there. And then we're going to go MOSI. I'm up a notch too high. Okay, let me zoom in. Move. There. Okay. Now, one more label. MISO. And we're going to put that right there. Okay, hit the escape key to keep clearing things out. I want that there, that one wired to there, that one wired to there, that one wired to there, put it on the ground, that one wired to there. Okay. So now we need these to connect to the microprocessor in a specific order. So I've got my cheat sheet down below here. The MOSI line comes in on pin 15. So let's go down here and the MOSI, this has got to be right, otherwise nothing works. There's pin 15, so let me just come out there and put it there. The MISO line, the MISO goes on pin 16. And then the SCK line comes in on 17, but we have to do one little funky thing with it. So, oh, that didn't do what I wanted. Notice that even though I thought I'd clicked it, it didn't work. This still says MOSI here instead of MISO. So let me just click that and then do a delete key. I wonder if I could do that. Okay. Sometimes if you don't hit the escape key right, it doesn't do it. So there's MOSI, MISO is on 16. MISO, that's this one. That looks good. And then I need the SCK line. And as I said, this one's a little bit different. So what I want to do is I want to bring it out because I need to get another wire to it. And let me wire those in. And what I've done is I'm copying the schematic from an Arduino Nano, and I've thrown out the things I don't want. So, you know, this is all the stuff we need to make it work. Now, on the Arduino, the LED itself is connected to the SCK line. So we want to take this guy and move it, and I want it about there. Okay. And notice the polarity of it and things like that. Now I need a resistor for an LED, so I want to copy one. Let me just Command D. There's a resistor. Now 10K is not the right value, so we'll have to fix that, but let me wire it in first. I knew that label would be in my way. I'm going to ignore it for a second. Let me hit the escape key, come over here, hit the E key. I'm going to make this 1K. Okay, so now we have got, I think, everything we need in terms of we've got a way to program it. We've got a way to, we've got an LED, so we could actually program it to blink the LED. It's not a convenient way to program it. That's not the Arduino interface. We still have to add the USB interface to this. I think I'm going to break the video here because we're hitting 20 minutes, and I think that's probably a good place to stop for a moment.